not wearing
move
black
back and
hoods
you can
in my
hold towards the
psoriasis, but now I don't have
Doesn't have it
it.
anymore. Another beautiful coat. This is from Bill.
Maybe it's better that way though, because I'm looking at these guys.
Yeah.
Well, you can thank Joan for getting Iko and I here. She figured out I could get my quilts, taking a picture and send it to the guild and not have to go to the guild.
Yeah, I was glad to see you here.
And then give them some more room.
Yeah, these things, when they're linked together, we're a little cozy.
Anybody not bring their lunch?
Yeah, you guys might want to push back a little bit.
Push the whole thing back?
Yeah.
Push the whole row, Snooky. We
Well,
have to
go
push
back.
in unison.
Okay.
Pushing back.
Oh, good. Watch your coffee. That's good.
Yeah, push it back.
That's new meeting to
How's
join the
that?
There we go.
Is that better?
I don't know where we got all these orange chairs.
I don't know, and they're linked, when they're linked together, you can't get our fanny in.
I know, that's the
I'm
first.
sitting over here, so we have room now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
our
well, we can
elbows
undo
like
them.
In the picture, it doesn't look like you have a big audience.
Would you rather we all sit together and
Or the
have
movie,
sit
no, no,
around you
and or
like
the
a-
movie theater.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that would get way of the camera shooting.
Yeah.
Theater, we're
I only
really
need to do this for these
airplane,
quilt
we're
things.
dead serious.
Then they'll be up
Should we
here.
sit together so everybody can be in the picture, or leave that blank?
And hang something behind her. Look how black that is behind her.
Oh, I'm going to be using the board.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's right. Oh, we're gonna learn
I
how to
took
do
it down.
something. Duh.
Going to
Are
learn.
we gonna be able to change the date of this class so that we can all attend Guild?
We just discussed that. We're going to do it in the afternoon.
Excellent!
In the afternoon.
Yeah, there was a whole discussion.
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't here for that, I guess.
No, it was just a few
Yeah.
minutes ago.
Now I have to
I
tell
wasn't
you,
here for that either.
next month, we will not have it next month because next month all the AV equipment is going to Brewer. And
To where?
Brewer, it's like a distributor, and they're doing filming of a lot of notions. And the two, you guys are going too as well,
To Nashville.
to Nashville. So, no
Let's do it
equipment.
another day.
Well, yeah, I'll probably just stick it on another day.
Yeah.
Because I have an idea for next month.
You let us know, right?
Yeah, let us know. But in August, I'll be in Montana, so.
Then do it another day.
Oh, I'm pretty much gone the whole
The whole
month.
month.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I'm teaching at the Festival of Quilts in Birmingham in the UK in the first week of August.
Can I be your assistant?
Can you come?
Cameron for you, Sue.
Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah, I'm excited. It's like the third time I've done that. It's really
we're
fun.
so lucky to have you.
And then we're going to Montana.
Montana for
Good,
long
nice.
time.
Well, I have to be creative.
Yeah, it's good for
Well,
you.
it sure works because you sure spew out.
I spew out a lot of stuff up there. Yeah, it depends on how much company I have, but
It's inspiring, isn't it, kind of to be up there?
well, yeah, because there's nothing to do. I have no TV.
All this, yeah.
Just as long as we don't start doing canoes and stuff, you know.
I already did that. Bears in the Woods.
Yeah, that's okay.
Been through that.
You can do that again. Lily Taylor
I
has a
loved
nice
it.
line out.
Oh, I know she does. All right, are we ready? Okay, so today we're going to do a quilt called Salute, and I'm going to show you some quilts. This is the first one, and this is the one that's going to be on the front page of your instructions. So it's really a fun little quilt. It's done with this little patch is what we're going to be working on today. So here's the first one, and then I'm lucky enough to have access to the new Zoe Christine line. So I've been daubing in that. So that's really fun. And I like the quilting on the back too. It's really fun. Amy did that for me.
I was just gonna
Yeah.
ask, do you have?
I've been trying to do more of my own, but I got desperate this week. Amy. And then for those of you that are brave enough, you can go little.
Is there enough in the kit to do the little one too?
No. No, there's not. But it certainly doesn't take very much fabric. And I did give you the yardage chart
Oh, good.
For the mini.
for the little mini one. Okay? So we'll go ahead and get started.
The mug rug.
Do you want to just move those somewhere? Okay, the reason I really wanted to do red, white, and blue today is because in May, it was actually May 2nd through 4th, went and met my father-in-law for the honor flight. And the honor flight is when you can apply for a World War II veteran or Korean veteran to go back to Washington, D.C. and see the monuments to them. And then they come back into the airport. And when they come back into the airport, they actually came in to Terminal 9. And it's just, there were so many Navy people, and there must have been 500 people there, just civilians, just cheering them on. They had bagpipes, they were singing songs, they had people doing dancing from the 1940s, and everybody had these flags. So I put the little thing on it so I remember it was this flag. So anyway,
Is that when they got to Washington? That's what they did? Or when they
Oh, when they got to Washington, oh my gosh, even on the way on the airplane going to Washington, what they did was they had a roll call, and all the family members and friends wrote them letters, you know, to thank them for their service. And my father-in-law said that about the third one he couldn't handle anymore. He had to wait till he got home. But we have another new pattern out called Rabbit Hole. I don't know if you've seen it, but here's my father-in-law right here in his uniform. Isn't he cute? Not yet. Is it coming in?
Oh, wow, he's a handsome little guy.
He's handsome. Yeah, and my stepson Casey, his is Ken Sr. the first. I'm married to the second. I have a stepson who's the third and a grandson who's the fourth. So I asked, Kenny was just at our house the fourth. And I said, so Kenny, if you have a son someday, are you going to name it the fifth? And he goes, well, Nana, what else am I going to do? I'm kind of stuck. So anyway, I'm dedicating this to him. So anyway, I'll have to tell him to dial in and watch it.
Yes.
Okay, so you all got your instructions. Okay, those of you that are watching from your home, you can download them as soon as they have that up. It's a really, really easy patch to do. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to start with 2.5 inch squares. And one is going to be, maybe we'll put that, can you get the bigger quilt? I'm going to put it up on the board so I can talk about it. All right. Okay, so we're going to start with this patch right here. And this is the patch that we're going to use in the borders. It's for the thing, it's like the patch of the day. And I started playing around with this patch and I realized how versatile it is. So we're going to be going into that after I go through the technique. Okay, so regardless if you're doing the big one like this or if you're going to do the mini, you're always going to start with the same size squares. It's like what we've done in previous ones, that we want to start big so we can square them up. We have something to hold on to while we're doing it. Okay, so we're just going to draw 2 diagonal lines, and I like to use my Identipin because sometimes, unless I know that the pin mark might be seen from the front of your quilt, then I'd use a friction pin. If I know I'm just using as a guide for sewing, I always use an Identipin.
Doesn't show through.
Well, we're not going to be sewing, we're going to be sewing away from it. So if we look at page 2 of your instructions, what we're going to do is we're going to start and sew down the left side of that drawn line, pivot, and then continue down the right side of the line. And we're going to do that on both diagonals.
So 2.5-inch squares.
Yeah, they're 2.5-inch squares. All right, I get to sew. I'm so excited.
Don't sew over the flag.
Oh, where is my flag? I was trying to find a cute little vase for it, but all I found was kind of a dirty vase, so I decided against the vase. Okay, when we're sewing this, we're going to use a scant 1/4 inch. Okay, it's really important to use a scant. Okay, so I'm just going down. When I hit the line going across, I'm going to stop my needle, and I'm going to pivot my whole patch. And it's about 3 stitches to hit the middle again, so that means I'm going to continue on for 3 more stitches. And I'm going to go down. Now I have a brand new foot on from Baby Lock, and it actually has a 1/4 inch on both sides. And I think that a lot of the machines are going to start having that kind of foot. So you might want to get one. It takes the guesswork out for you. Okay. So can you all see how I sewed down and went across my line? And luckily I hit my line right on today. If you don't hit your line exactly, not to worry, okay? We're going to be squaring it up. Yeah, if it's good, if it's straight, but I've also discovered a way to solve the not straight problem. And I'm going to show you today, because I had some that were not straight. Okay. Okay, so see what we got? So now what we're going to do, we're going to cut on both of the drawn lines. You know, it's funny, when you're getting ready to do these things, you have like all these stacks of fabric, and then by the time you get down to it, you use very little of it. I have boxes of fabric down there. Okay, so we're going to cut it, and it's going to go like that. And the reason we did this little jaunt is because I want all these triangles to look exactly the same. okay? Because I want all my star points to be going in the same directions. So now I'm going to take them over to the ironing mat, and I want to press it so the blue is on top. And I think you need to turn your page now. I think we're on page 3. So I'm just going to set my seam and open it up towards the blue. So I'm hoping you guys are reading along.
Yes, sir.
So if I have an error of my ways, you'll let me know, right?
Now, with these miniatures, do you require steam? Do you think steam's bad?
I like steam, but I respect steam. I think that if you steam, you got to make sure that you don't stretch it. Because once it's stretched, it never unstretches. But I do use steam. I know Eleanor uses steam. Teresa does not use steam. Patty does not. So it's 2 to 2.
You tend to go straight down on stuff too, instead of sliding around a lot.
Right.
She actually presses instead of.
Yeah, it's not the iron thing. Okay. So I haven't pressed open, but if Rin can go really close on this one, can you look and see how it's like a little bit bowed? Okay? That bow comes probably when you were going down the right side of the line. You can't really see where you're going, and your line's not straight. So what I recommend that you do is you just take your 6x6, and now you can see my bow, right? I bowed one on purpose because I needed to demonstrate this for you. I'm just kidding. I didn't do it on purpose. But I was hoping that I had one. Okay. See that little sliver?
Yeah,
I'm just going to cut that off.
on this camera, it looks like a magnificent.
Yeah, it's really quite little.
Enough to do it, right?
It's quite little. And that will straighten it up. So when we go to sew the next triangle to it, you're not going to end up with a block that's already bulging in the middle. Okay? So very little, very little. And I tried to take a picture of it up close.
Yeah.
I've never known people to do that little straightening, but I think my stars were laid flatter when I did it. I mean, it's an extra step, but it's perfection, right?
Well, it pays off in the end.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so there we have those parts done. Those are our little star points. The next thing we're going to do is our large star points.
So do you have to trim the seam allowance?
I don't trim until the next step. That one I left alone and it didn't seem to bother me, but after this we're going to start trimming.
Don't worry about the point.
Not yet.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so I'm just taking 2 2-inch squares now because I'm just going to make one star for you. And I just need to cut it on one diagonal. Well, I don't do that. I mean, I could do that for you, but I don't like to put anything biased in your kits because they get kind of, especially, I told you this morning I was back in your kits correcting this issue.
Now, at some point, we have to do these things ourselves.
Yeah. Somebody asked me in some class, why didn't I sew the peace triangle squares for them? I thought that was pretty funny. Okay, so we're going to have our large star points on the right and our little star points on the left. And I'm just going to flip them right sides together like this. And it's going to be really good because the seam underneath is going down, so we don't have to fight with that at all. All right. This chair is just a little bit too high for me. Okay, I have a new stiletto, and I ordered these in for you guys. As you guys have watched me sew before, I'm usually not a stiletto person. Eleanor's a real stiletto person, and we got this as sample in our booth at Quilt Market, and I kind of asked to borrow it, but I haven't really returned it yet because I really like it. So anyway, but we'll be having a lot of these in. But I have to tell you, it's really cool because with the curved, it like holds stuff down in there.
Yeah, I like the curve.
Yeah, it's like really nice.
It's got a fat handle for your hand.
Uh-huh.
There was a while ago
Yeah.
when I gave everybody a porcupine quill for stilettos. She passed one out to everyone in class.
She did?
Yeah. That's my favorite stiletto because you know why? It has
Yeah,
a
see,
curve.
it just like holds it in there.
Oh, yeah. It has a curve. Huh, I like that.
I can add this when she teaches.
Yeah, I have to also.
All right, so I'm just going to do all 4.
So this makes the same shape as what you use in the border.
Yes.
The same
The same little shape.
shape.
So a porcupine
Yes, you can talk as much as you want. Yeah, it just really holds the stuff in.
He might bite.
You have more surface holdings up down at just a point. Looks like it's made by Clover.
It is a Clover product.
Well, is the reason that the points can actually stick in?
Yeah. So they're doing the yeah. They're doing the 24th. They were just introduced.
They were what?
They were just introduced this market, and they're doing the 24th at Quilting Today. Okay, so now I'm going to take them over. I'm going to press so my seam goes towards my large star point.
To the red.
To the red.
This is slamming a block together.
It's a real fast and easy block.
She's used to make small ones.
I know. It's just the red, white, and blue season. We got Flag Day coming. We have 4th of July. We just had Memorial Day.
Quilted in honor boutiques out there on the
Mm-hmm.
would be lovely.
It's just a happy summer color to use. I mean,
Yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to square it up. And I'm going to square this one up to 1.5 inches. So we're going to use our 6.5 square up ruler. And I'm just, this 1.5 inch line is just going to go right on my seam line. And I wanted to point this out that it really is red, but unfortunately I'm doing it on a red piece of fabric. So it might disappear, but this is the line that I'm using. And it works really well having this diagonal line go this way as well, because it lines up on the seam between your blue and your white. So you kind of have a really good register of making sure that you're going to have a good point out there, okay? So I always cut that side first with the little star point. Then I turn it around, and I'm just going to trim whatever I have excess on the red, and it's not going to be a lot. It's very little. And there's your little patch.
It's like a little sailboat with little white.
It does look like a sail.
Uh-huh, it does.
turn it the other way.
Does this have a name? I mean, I've been looking for a name for this block since we did Huckleberry for free. And I can't find it.
Quarter square trunk?
It's funny because we have half square triangles, right, with one line, and then we have quarter square triangle with 4 lines. So I was calling this a third tri-square or something like that, because it's got like 3 triangles in it.
Tri-square, just call it a tri-square.
A tri-square. We'll name it today. It's now called the tri-square.
Tri-square.
Very good.
You could
Because it's a very
Well, it's just
useful.
logical.
Oh, yeah.
Logical thing.
It's very logical.
Quilters are so logical.
yeah.
Yeah, I love these colors.
Yeah, they just are so pretty.
It's an interesting color of blue,
Yeah, it's a lovely.
bright one.
I had a lighter blue that I was using, and then I put, you know, those little red glasses you can put on, it takes out
Right.
the color and just gives you the value. I put that on, and actually the light blue you couldn't see as well as you could see this color blue.
Just don't try to drive in those glasses.
No. All right. Okay.
Say, Officer, your car didn't contrast with the sky enough, so I couldn't see you.
Good.
Yeah.
I didn't
What
see
flashing
those
light?
lights. What's your light? It doesn't contrast enough with the sky.
Okay, so there's our 4 star points. So out of each, the 2.5 inch squares that we started with will make 1 star, and then you need 2 2-inch squares for the large star points.
You could fussy cut something for the center. if
You could
wanted.
fussy cut, you could make it a different color.
Flag in the middle.
Yep. And then you just do your 1.5 inch. And just make sure that you have them right side up. In my haste yesterday, I was unsewing because I was not conscious of that. And sewing's good. So it was asked if we're going to trim these back. And I do just sort of trim back this middle seam right here. Just to
Regardless of which size we're making, it's better to go.
yeah, especially this one, it's iffy, it's questionable if you really need to, but if you're making the little one, you really need to. I didn't want to quilt it, the little one, although it looks better quilted. There's so much seam going on in the back of that thing, it was crazy. I should have taken a picture of it. I'll do that next time. Okay, so just getting rid of just a little bit. Yeah, it's funny doing the little teeny one. I had more fabric I threw away than fabric I seemed to have used. All right, so that's our star. So in order to do it, it's just like we do any sort of 9-patch kind of format. You're just going to flip your center row over your first one. I'm going to sew down and then go back and add.
We're still with the scan.
Still with the scant. Yeah, once you start with the scant on this, you want to continue with the scant. All right. And if you line it up one place and take it over to your machine, make sure you check it again to make sure you didn't turn something around. Yeah.
Mostly toward the end of the day.
You take it out 3 times, that's
That
my
and
limit.
the third bottle.
That's the glue.
Okay. Now I want to show you what I did. The first one I just sewed normally. Okay, I just folded this over like that and sewed. And then on this one, oops, go this way. I just flipped the center over and sewed it. But this one, when I looked at it, if I would have just flipped this over this way, I would have hit a big lump down here, okay? So I actually flipped this over and sewed it so this was going down. So that this seam was going down. So I sewed it from this direction so the underneath seam was going down. If I would have done it from the other way, the seam would have been going up. And whenever you meet those little kind of bulkiness, you have a tendency to go off. And especially since it's towards the end, you'll go weird things. So kind of look at what you're sewing. It doesn't make so much, difference on your larger piecing. But when you get to these little ones, those little tricks kind of help you. Okay, so with that in mind, if I was, let me iron this so it stays better. I'm just going to press my seams towards my corners and towards my center, because those are the pieces that don't have any, they're just solid. That's the way they were going to want to go. Right. Okay. So now I'm just going to add the last ones on like that and sew down. And this, for the one up top, you're good. Okay, but look at the one on the bottom. If I was to sew from here down, I'm going to hit this first, right? And this is going to be up, up. Okay, so once I got it in place, hold it, and then you can just turn it over and I'll sew that way.
Let me see which way you're going to sew it.
I'm going to sew with the corners on top. The way that I'm going to sew it the way so the seams go down.
Okay.
Underneath.
Sew it with that facing down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, because I have that facing up throws everything off. So you can see the seams.
Oh, you can sew seams too, but just as long as the seams are going down.
So they don't,
I know it's a very fine point.
No, but it makes a big difference, because those bumps really throw your.
Oh, yeah, it'll zig off to one side.
Yeah. Yeah, because you don't have much to hold on down here anyway. So the more that you can line up your seams to help you and not fight against you is better. All right.
Clean your rings before you take them. Sure, so sparkly.
Are they sparkly today? Oh my gosh. Well, the one on my left is cleaner. I took it in. I was getting a new battery for my mom's watch. And so I said, oh, will you clean my ring for me at the door? Because they make it look so pretty. And so he goes, takes it back in his little cleaning room, turns on his machine, and he comes back out with my ring. And he goes, we have a problem. I'm, well, what's my problem? I had a huge chunk out of one of the side ones. So I had to get it replaced. So, yeah, it's real clean.
What are your diamonds?
He says sometimes if there's a little infraction in it and you hit it just right on, but it looked like a bite out of it. It was really quite sad.
Did they ever take your old diamond, the broken one, and size it down and make another?
They can. Yes, but that's what they were doing with it. But I got credit for it.
I'm saying, you didn't get credit for it.
Got credit for it.
Took my big chunk and gave me a little chunk.
Okay, so that's what we got. So now what we need to do is we're going to flip them right sides together. And I do put a pin here. Get out your pins. Pins are your friends.
I'm a pin person anyway. I pin everything.
Do you really?
I pin everything. I just do it. It's my hobby.
It makes you happy in the end. It's,
Yeah. Yeah, I just do it.
Pins are making a comeback.
They are. I fought it. But I'm using them now.
but when you see your points,
And when my points are coming out nice,
you're
then I
so
know
glad
why
you did it.
Yeah. See how it gets stuck there? So sometimes when it gets stuck, you just pull out the other end. We'll see if the pins work for me.
I had a volunteer who kept sewing over the.
I think that worked.
Oh, yes, we can have.
Oh, it made a big
Yeah, very
difference.
pretty. Oh, pretty color.
Pretty color.
Now, where am I gonna put it in the house? Let me see. That nobody will sit on.
I mean, for like a cat sit on it?
Yeah, well, they immediately sit on whatever you
Oh,
put down.
cat likes
Oh, look.
anything new.
New mat.
on you.
Must be for
My
me.
cat. I'm doing this for you because I love you.
I had the grand dogs last weekend.
You did?
It was very fun. Well, her older brother's about 5 times bigger than she is. I think Doug's up to 74 pounds. For an English bulldog, that's rather large.
It's kind of like those 2 quilts. You got Dougie's the big one, and
Yeah.
the French is the little tiny quilt.
Okay, so there's our star. And that's all there is to that.
That's so cute.
Okay, so I just want to talk about how we're going to put the quilt together. You're just obviously making 9 stars for this one. And I just put some lattice and cornerstones there. Nothing special about doing it. But what I did was, your border that you're sewing on right here, this like framing border, it is actually way oversized. I think I have it cut at 2 inches, and you were going to be cutting it down. But the reason I did that is because we're going to make this row right here, and we got 4 of them. And you're going to measure those. And whatever size those are is what you're going to square your center up to. That way you're not fighting anything.
Oh, so you
Okay.
add a big white framing border, then square the whole thing.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
And that's how you get that all to fit.
I was wondering about that.
Okay, so I made some big patches. I just want to show you some different things that you can do with this patch. So to do this border right here, in this case, the green is my background. We were at a baby lock sewing school, and my friend Chris this was her fabric she was sewing in her classroom. Like, oh, I need some fabric, I need some fabric. Anyway, so this is going right side up. It's just like the star point. Can you see the resemblance? Okay, large point, small point, and background. If we turn it over, okay, goes like that, and then we go back up. And this is how you get the woven look. Okay, you're just alternating this. Isn't that fun? Yes. Okay. Yeah, we've done it before. We've done it before. Okay. Here's another option that you can do. If you, in this next case, can you see how I have the large star point as the red and the small as a little floral? Well, what if I take it and I switch those fabrics? And I make the floral the large star and the small point the red. I call it the mountains.
Oh, that's very cool.
Okay.
Should make some of each.
Oh, I like that.
So it looks like it's like tucked into each other, like prairie point type things. Uh-huh. So that's another option. But I just switched these two colors. That's all I did. Okay, another thing you can do, and this one I just have it done in my little ones. When we first marked the 2.5-inch square and I had the background on top, okay, if you mark it with the medium on top, your big star point is going to be going in that direction instead of that direction. So with that in mind, and I hope that you can go close on this, because they're little. Okay. Right. It'll go. Oh, wait, these aren't the right ones. I thought I had them sitting up here. Okay, what did I do with them? Oh, here they are. Go, wait a minute. I know I have these. I was playing with them this morning. I put them in a very cute little bag so I would not lose these ones.
But then when you use them all.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Okay, so here it is going like we did it.
Okay.
Okay? And here it is going the other way. Okay, so then it looks like the little prairie points are behind each other.
Now, on a striped thing, does it make a difference if they're not going the same direction on that side?
I would change the way I did my direction of my diagonal to accommodate that, but these I had just, what had happened, I just did these ones incorrectly. I did it with the stripe on top instead of the yellow. And I go, what's wrong with these? And I go, oh no, look at what you can do with them. So that's like another option that you can do. Okay? You can also do really cool blocks with these. Make sure I have the ones going the way I want here. Okay? You can do, just if you have 4 of these, you can put them like this, and you'll have like a little surrounded pinwheel.
Oh,
Oops, makes
It's like a square and a square type thing when you're done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't have to sew on those sides, right?
I hate those sunshine.
All right, so that's a possibility. And if you sew this block to block, you know, with no lattice and stuff, what you're going to have a pinwheel, and then you're going to have a solid block and a pinwheel and a solid block, and it looks really nice. You can also make a pinwheel with your large points. So it goes like this, and you get another kind of fun thing.
yeah, we could use some.
Yeah, I'll leave these up and we'll take pictures afterwards. I just didn't want them up there before to distract. But there's a lot of things. So what I did for you is I just, I made these little sheets. And there's just, what it is, it's just blank. So you can kind of color it in and see, you know, so you can experiment to yourself. And there's like a lot of things you can do. You can also, there's a star that you've probably seen out there. It's done with partial seaming. See, how'd that go? Somehow it gets offset, but it's like partial seaming, but it's called a scrappy star. So you can try and do that one. You do Hope of Hartford. I think that's what the scrappy thing I was talking about. Yeah. I know, but isn't that really fun?
It is very fun.
Yeah, I like the pinwheel a lot. So anyway, I hope you guys have fun working on your...
Go over this math for us.
Oh, yeah, the math. Okay, that's a good thing. On the last page of your instructions, I did talk about the block because I wanted to start incorporating that into the lessons. Thanks for looking at that. First thing you want to do, you want to decide what size you want this finished patch to be. Okay? I'll put it so it's going right. Okay? And let's say I wanted a 3-inch finished patch. To determine the sizes that you need to cut for these little triangles, you're going to add 1.5 inches. So that means these are going to start with 4.5-inch squares. To determine the size that you need to cut for your big one, you just need to add 1 inch. So you'd have a 4-inch. Okay? So let's say you wanted a 6-inch finished patch. So the 2 little ones are going to be 7.5, and the big ones is just going to be 7. Okay? It's real easy math to go with it. Okay?
You're talking about finished once it's in the, so it's
Yeah, you always, whenever you determine sizes, you always want to go back to the finished size. and then you add on from there.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Thank you.
This is a great little class.
Yay!
Liking it.
Yeah, it's really
In
fun.
a miniature, we learn. So the corners are triangles.
Oh, yeah, they're just piece triangle squares.